Today, we are delighted to have our colleague, our friend, mentor, and wonderful human, Dr. Heather Quaile. Thank you, Heather. Wow.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, guys. I feel very much the same, very passionate about you all too and what you've created. It's not easy, as you know, because I have my fellow entrepreneurs here with me. So when you find your people and you find your village, I'm honored to be here with y'all.
You're such a dear colleague of ours, so we already know a lot of your story, but we would love you to share how you got into the work that you're doing and opening your own practice.
Oh, I got business experience, and I think that is something that we do not get as providers, whether we are medical doctors, whether we are nurse practitioners, PAs, like we're not taught this in school. And when I'm talking business knowledge, it was to the fact of we needed to create a website. I needed to do a business plan. I needed to look at blueprints to know where to put outlets, because if we were going to have a laser or phlebotomy or centrifuge, like where would you put these outlets so that it made the most sense? So literally from the ground up, picking colors, branding, you name it, we did it.
Which I think is like the number one thing with starting a business is you get to do what you want to do. If you want to have hour-long treatments or appointments, you can do that, but you have to also figure out the model that's going to work. And it's great now that we have all the resources of membership, fee for service, so that you can figure out what's going to be best.
I think in the telehealth space, what it allowed us to do, especially in the entrepreneurial world, is it allowed you to dabble and get your feet wet. And that's one of the things I would encourage nurse practitioners that are interested in doing this is start off with a dabble. Start off with dipping your toe in the water. You don't have to dive in feet first. You don't have to have the pretty building and the pretty colors and the pretty furniture and the exam tables and every tool under the sun. You just don't.
Georgia is not an independent practice state. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So can you walk us through, because, not every state is.
Yeah. And probably half the states in the country aren't, and you can do this.
Right. Exactly. So I think number one, you can totally do this because look what Heather is doing. And number two, could you talk us through what that looks like for you?
For a side note there, I mean, when you start a practice, it's so important to figure out what your niche or your specialty is, or that special sauce that you're going to bring, because it will really set you apart. And the sex counseling is and in Boston, I can name 3 providers that we refer patients to. It's really hard to find.
And I wanted that same experience for my patients, because I loved that they could start in a room with me, clothed like me, talking about all their concerns, whatever they wanted me to put in their chart. And then we could move to the exam. And then once we finished the exam, the patient could get dressed, and then we could have a conversation back at the desk and chairs. And so I loved that, because in a lot of the other practices I was in, you would walk right in the room and the patient was already ready for you in a paper towel, a paper sheet, and a paper gown. And I just hated that. So for me, and I don't do a lot of annuals. So for me, I just needed sheets, and I wanted to also make sure those were cloth. So I'm big on cloth. I'm really like paper, if you can avoid that, especially in our very private place that people are coming to talk about some of their most intimate concerns.
So it's really just an honor to chat with you. And I know we're going to want to have you on again because you are so passionate and smart about so many things. So
I appreciate you. Just love you guys. I'm so amazed and empowered by what you all do. So again, it takes a village. It really, really does. And so find your people and lift them up. And like Kathy and I always say, like, we're much stronger together. So just we need to live that mantra.
Yeah. Totally. Thank you.